Hey everybody, the Potato Boys are back. I'm Tim Miller of the Bulwark. That's Sam Stein. He's the managing editor. Will Sommer writes the False Flag newsletter, and the recent False Flag newsletter is the best one in a minute. They're all good, but it is titillating. It is exactly the type of newsletter that this video trio is meant for. The title is "A Shocking Sex Scandal Rocks the Trad Right." Before the article even dropped, I'd already received a text from a prominent MAGA influencer saying, when is the trio going to comment on the Elijah Schaefer scandal? So the MAGA influencers are watching and waiting for our commentary. I do believe one of the characters in this story was also a character in the original fingering story that was the impetus for this very show. So there's a lot here. It should be a fan favorite. That's my intro. That's my tease for everybody. I hope you're ready. I hope you're, go get your popcorn, go get a little glass of white wine, whatever it is you like to do when you watch the trio. And let's get going. Will, tell us about the shocking sex scandal. Give us the players. Let's start with the key players.
Okay, here are our key players. We've got Elijah Schaefer, who's sort of a dissolute far-right commentator. He used to be Glenn Beck's protege, sort of. He got famous for going to the riots around George Floyd, and people would scuffle with him. And then he had sort of a fall from grace. And so now he reinvented himself as this Christian family man. He's always saying, you losers on the right, you got to get married, whatever. Here's my beautiful family. Oh, I love God so much. And then, let's see how that goes. And then our other character is Sarah Stock, who worked for Elijah at his new operation, which is called Riff TV. People may remember her, number one, because she was in the Sam Cedar Jubilee video. She's in a lot of these Jubilee YouTube debate videos. And she's kind of like, there's the MAGA people, and then they're like, oh, they got the racist lady. They're really she's just like, well, it should be only white people in America. And you go, oh. And so that has kind of over the past year propelled her. She became a traditional sort of Catholic influencer. She was really touting her marriage. And then I would say, as you said, she's famous in our world, in the trio world, because after she got engaged, she posted a picture of the wedding ring, and a lot of other right-wing women found the diamond almost comically small. And then this sort of provoked a lot of, I guess I'll just say, cattiness about it.
Yeah.
Wait,
and then how did that relate to the fingering again? Refresh me on that.
Yes, because these women started fighting with each other, and one who was defending the ring accused another woman. She said, well, you don't fucking know about trad values and getting married because you got, this sex act happened to you in the lobby at the TPUSA convention.
You can say fingering.
With the fingering,
Got it. So Sarah Stock, I just think it's important because there's some licentious material ahead, but we don't want to we don't want to impugn anyone. We don't want to impugn anyone with false accusations. And so because I got the characters mixed. She was not involved in the fingering.
Yes.
Her only relationship was that the person that got fingered was in a tiff with her online.
Yes, exactly.
Got it. Over the size of her wedding ring. Well, good thing her husband didn't throw out more cash for that bigger wedding ring, it turns out. All right. Sam, I guess before Will goes further, you've read the whole newsletter.
Oh, man.
What was do you have any editing notes? What was your big takeaway?
There's so many different twists and turns to this story. We're dealing with multiple layers of scandal and intrigue. Accusations of infidelity, rumors of suicide. Milo makes a very strong appearance, a shifty character in his own right. Secret recordings, affairs, and then one semi-groinal shot that I will say lied in his draft. Thank God he's got.
I should also say now, before we get into all the twists and turns, that
wait, don't you want to know how he lied?
We'll find out. We'll get to it. I know. It's related to the thought pick. Everybody, there's a thought pick coming at the end, and there was a lie related to that. So it's just a little teaser. But
fine.
The other element of this, and the twists and turns you didn't mention, I had messaged Will a couple days ago and said that I saw an alarming tweet from someone I follow who said they were worried that Elijah Schaefer, the main character here, had murdered his family. And spoiler alert, he is not. He is not. But that is also part of the twists and turns. There were some people wondering if he had committed what's wifecide.
I think they call it family annihilation these days.
Family annihilation.
Okay. Is that the technical term?
One more thing before we get through this to what Will walk us through what happened. Elijah, I just don't want to understate it because I've followed him for a minute. Like he is on the noxious, disgusting edge of like right wing world. You know, like I mean, he offers a type of material that like they might even look askance at times on Bannon's War Room. Like, I mean,
That's too much.
he is like overtly bigoted, racist, like fucking hateful. And like in some ways, I find him kind of interesting and why I follow him because like he's not afraid to go after the Trump administration, but like from the right, like they're not doing enough in his view, in the areas where I would say most of us would think they're doing too much, such as deportations. So anyway, Will.
Yeah, he's
Elijah,
sort of like, just to build on that, he's sort of like a Nick Fuentes type guy, but, scruffier and sort of more, cruder. And, and like Nick Fuentes is sort of like, okay, like, wipe your shoes when you come in, Elijah, don't mess up the place. So, this story begins. Elijah disappeared a month ago from his online show. Things seemed to not be looking good. A lot of people were leaving, a lot of staff were dropping off the website. And then he returns last week and he says, this show is going to be about how much I don't like Indians and I don't like Muslims. But first, people are out to kill me. And he goes on this whole rant. For one thing, Kash Patel's girlfriend is suing Elijah for saying she's a Mossad agent. But he claims it goes beyond that people are trying to kill him. And then he goes in kind of this like sort of like custody dispute rant. At the time he started divorcing his wife in late January, but he had not told anyone this. And he kind of starts ranting and he's like, Mama Bear, what about Dad? Who cares about Dad?
Mama Bear, fuck you. What about Dad? What about Dad?
And it's this whole thing. And then, I mean, it was looking grim, I guess. And then, over the weekend.
And what platform is this on? Is this like is this on Rumble? Is he twitching?
This is on Rumble. Yeah, this is not on YouTube. This is sort of the back alley.
And sorry, Mama Bear is supposed to be his wife.
His wife, yes. That people are saying, I think he feels it in the conservative movement. I guess he's calling back to like Sarah Palin or whatever, where it's like, with the Mama
He
Bears.
also was at the time of this return video after he disappeared. This was when he did come back with a permanent black eye, right? Is that right?
Yes, he came back and he said he looked really red. He's talked before about having a drinking problem that he had claimed to have sort of gotten ahead of. And then he said, I have this permanent black eye from all the stress
I'm under. What is a permanent black eye?
I don't know.
How is it black eye permanent?
Just every week by, people.
I think it's kind of like the Trump hand situation. It's like you shake too many hands, you have too many women smacking you across the face, and it just never goes away. Like once you have, if that ring hits you across the face enough times, it becomes permanent.
Sure. Okay. Sorry, Will, go on.
So, I mean, he looks like a guy on the verge of a nervous breakdown. I mean, it looks pretty grim. He's saying, what I've been through in the past month, lesser men, if they had just a fraction of it, they would take their own lives. I'm hanging on by a thread here. So I was like watching this. I was like, oh boy. And then on Sunday or Monday, he posted a truly bizarre video of himself wandering through a flooding hotel.
My feet are wet. And then we got some flooding, I guess. Okay, it's falling on me.
Like it's almost like we're seeing his dreams or something. Like it's like a flooding hotel, and he's just like, "Where am I? What's happening?"
It felt. I watched the video. It felt very Shining like. I couldn't tell what the hotel was, but all the floors are just completely soaked, and he's walking.
And he's just
by
like
himself.
sitting there in the water, basically. It's like get out of there.
And he stumbles upon.
I've not had a chance. Can we pull it up?
What even is going on? Right? There's a thing. Okay. At least I can take a seat and actually rest. But then I have some what? Some Diet Dr. Pepper?
Okay, so where is this? Like, where is that happening?
We don't know. I mean, he's in Florida. He said he's now gone to Virginia. He lives in Florida. He said he's gone to Virginia to work with the FBI in some sort of scheme. But basically, that's where we are.
I thought the FBI was trying to kill him.
Well, maybe there's different factions here. The other thing I should say is just sort of one more Elijah thing. He got on my radar a few months ago because he had this really expensive sports car, I think a BMW, but it was like a really souped up BMW that he said was stolen. And he said, well, whatever, I have insurance. Oh, wait, my insurance lapsed. And he had missed all these notices about not paying his insurance. And he said, someone close to me must have been stealing these notices. And then more recently, he claimed, it was recovered. but the FBI or the police said someone close to me betrayed me to these criminals. And so basically he's starting to, in a way that's, I think, a little unnerving, starting to look, is he looking at his family? Is he looking at his staff as betraying him?
So you start to get a little conspiratorial. You start to get a little paranoid. Okay, where in the story, with his disappearance, then he returns with the permanent black eye, then you have the shining flood in the hotel. At what point in the story are people worried that he might have murdered his family? What was happening there?
So on Tuesday, he posts various things like, my kids and my wife have gone missing. I don't know where they are. Sinister forces are out to get me. I think there was something about someone planting drugs on him. And so people start to think, because he had talked just so intensely about these kind of paranoid delusions. And it's like, is he laying the groundwork for some sort of alibi? Is he trying to set something up? As far as we know, they are fine, but people on the right started posting like, can someone check on Elijah's family? Because he just seems to be going nuts.
We do have proof of life, though.
Well, from Milo Yiannopoulos, yes.
Okay, we're going to catch up the Milo thing in a second. Just one more thing. Quick aside, your story takes an interesting aside that I think is maybe poor editing for Sam, because it piqued my interest and I wanted a little more. And so maybe we could get it here. Which is you kind of just deadpan as you do throw in. There's this other influencer, I don't know, who I'd never heard of, whose wife has also gone missing and has never been found.
This was a great line. This was crazy.
He basically said that Elijah wasn't smart enough to kill his family. Wink, wink.
No, he asked, do you think he's smart enough to get away with it?
So who is that? What's happening there?
This is a guy, I think he's Quebecois. And his name is Jean-Francois Garepi. And this is a guy who was like a pretty big deal in this world in like 2018. And so this is sort of like where Nick Fuentes was like swimming, and Elijah too. I mean, these guys were kind of like these middling YouTube figures. And JF or Jean-Francois also, I should add, is in the Epstein files, because Epstein sent Jean-Francois $25,000, I think, to start his YouTube channel. But anyways, I think 2 years ago, JF's wife went missing. And he sort of said, yeah, my wife asked me to take her to like this highway and drop her off. And then I was like, well, she's always going on crazy adventures. I mean, it seems like I don't think it's true. And then he said, and then I guess we never saw her again. So I've just reported it to the police, but who's to say? A lot of Canadian true crime YouTubers are really into this case. And more recently, he has started, every so often he posts, like, his fans called his wife a potato because they didn't think she was that smart. And so he'll post like making French fries with the potato. Like, I've got a lot of experience chopping up potatoes. Or in this case, he said sort of like, I wonder if my old buddy Elijah can pull off killing his family and getting away with it.
Imagine being that fucked in the head that you tweet these jokes. You have to have real problems.
Welcome to the Canadian true crime audience who has found us based on that backstory. Okay, so now...
Well, I think that, hold on. I think that's a fair criticism of my editing. We could have lingered a little bit more on this character, but maybe we sort of severed off for a secondary newsletter next week.
I would read an entire newsletter on Jean-Francois. There seems to be enough material there, certainly. Okay, so I just want to, for people who are trying to follow, I just want to take us back to where we are. So he disappears, Elijah, goes away for a while, comes back with the black eye.
Permanent.
There's the flood in the hotel. His family is then missing as well for a while. And now we get to earlier in this week when we're trying to figure out what happened to the family, what is happening here, what is behind this story. And that's where Milo Yiannopoulos, the ex-homosexual, emerges.
That's right. And I actually don't know where he stands on the gay thing these days. But so basically,
he's back to being homo?
I think he's leaving it a little like ambiguous, you know. And I can relate my own personal experiences here. A few days ago,
with ex-homosexuality, or
no?
Last week,
Jean-Francois,
some various claims about Elijah and the state of his marriage, and a recording of the Sarah Stock woman we mentioned talking about having some kind of sexual encounter with Elijah started circulating on the right. And they were sent to me. And this is the kind of thing that I look at seriously. And I say, what can this tell us about the larger state of right-wing media? And what this is going to take weeks to nail down. And Milo gets it and he goes, whatever. And he puts it up on Twitter. And so what happens then is people go crazy.
Wait, we need to pause for a second. Because we're going very fast through a very critical juncture. I think people need to appreciate someone is spreading private audio recordings of Sarah talking about Elijah or seeming to talk about Elijah, referencing potentially an affair with Elijah.
And obviously I deeply regret that, but also I'm not a slut. That's a horrible thing, but it's not like I really am sleeping around or have been. So
yeah, you don't have to defend yourself.
It's kind of, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying it's kind of just not even true for anyone who knows me. So
yeah, you just had a fling with Elijah, and that's, I don't know, I guess he got upset about it. He's just exaggerating. Yeah.
Someone is spreading this around to multiple people. Do we have a sense of the motivation? You reveal what you can without compromising your source, but do you know the motivation? Can you say something about the motivation?
I can't. It's really unclear to me. What I would say broadly is that Elijah is one of the most reviled figures within right-wing media, and I think has antagonized many people. And has made many enemies in the past 5 years, 6 years. And so I think it would be a long list of culprits, perhaps.
And so in these recordings you only start seeing them push privately after Elijah comes out and has a nervous breakdown and there's questions about his mental stability. That's when it
starts. And as it all kind of in the past week or so starts really falling.
I also had a follow-up then. Those are good clarifying questions, Sam. And then is this audio, it's an audio recording? It's a furtive video? What type of recording are we talking about?
It's audio. There's no video of it. And it's Sarah, or this woman who sounds like Sarah, certainly, talking to a man who, by the way, is not Milo Yiannopoulos, because a lot of people are misunderstanding this. Milo did not record this himself. This audio is a man who is saying, and then what happened? Then what did you do with him at CPAC? And so that's sort of what the audio is like.
Yeah, I've listened to the recordings that Milo posted. Caveat that they're from Milo, but Will got the same recordings. It does sound like this person who is talking to Sarah, we don't know this person's identity, is trying to goad her or lead her to a certain place. It looks like they're trying to solicit information critical of Elijah out of her. That's just my read of it and how it feels when you listen to it, but that's important context for people watching this.
Well, it's very like James O'Keefe in that it's sort of this constant and wouldn't you also say, and then what happened? And sort of if you had this happening to you, you'd be like, wow, this random guy is asking me a lot about my, this
I think
from 2 years ago.
I think it's important at this point then to mention a little bit more about the sexual encounter that the woman that sounds like Sarah Stock describes with Elijah at CPAC 2020. Was it at CPAC or at TPUSA? CPAC 2025.
Yeah, so she says basically that, I think she was sick and Elijah gave her Benadryl and some alcohol and she blacked out in her sense of it. And then, we don't get the details essentially, but some sexual thing took place. And she claims that was the end of it. I think Milo has claimed that he has other sourcing that this kind of went on for a longer period of time up until she got engaged and sort of really got into this trad lifestyle.
She has denied this, or?
Well, no, she posted on Twitter. She said, there's a lot of false things out there about me. And I should say there's all these other allegations that we're not even getting into because I think Les found it.
Just give me one. Just give me one just for just one unfounded allegation. Just one. Just for
just the one that springs to mind about Elijah is that Milo said, oh, Elijah has this electric vibrator or a dildo or something. I think that's basically baseless. I really think there's very little to that claim.
I was wondering because Will and I talked about the story yesterday in the office, and he would mention the electric dildo multiple times to me in the office, and I was wondering where is this not in the draft? But I didn't want to press matters because I was a little bit worried about my Slack trail and my Google history if I'm starting to do it all. So no.
So she said basically there's a lot of false claims out there about me. However, I have made some mistakes. Please pray. I'm going to take a step back for a little while. And then I guess the apology didn't go very well because within like 45 minutes of that going up, she just deleted her Twitter entirely.
And she is a trad also in the Catholic sense. There's kind of the evangelical strain of trad and the Catholic strain of trad. And I do think it's worth noting that like she went so far in her performative traditional Catholicism that she had her marriage blessed by Pope Leo.
Blessed by Pope Leo. This is where, you bring the Pope into it, people aren't going to be happy. Yeah. Basically,
I'm not happy. The Bulwark Pope getting sullied by the electric vibrator fingering girl from TPUSA.
She didn't use the electric vibrator. Elijah used the electric vibrator. So come on now.
So yes, there's a picture that she had posted on Instagram of her, and it seems like various other married couples or soon to be married couples. And, she's wearing a white wedding dress, and Pope Leo saying, good on you. Good luck with the marriage. And basically Milo claims, I think, that this was some of his motivation to out this story was because he's now a big Catholic guy, supposedly. And he's saying, how could you bring the Pope into this? That you've challenged the Holy See or whatever.
Milo just had to do it because of, his Catholicism. It's not that he loves stirring up shit,
Yeah.
Well, we were talking a few weeks ago about him going after Benny Jennings and he was gay. And so this is a recurring trope.
Have we heard anything about the lawsuit that Benny was going to file against Milo? Actually, now you bring that up. Has there been any progress on that?
I checked it about a week ago and nothing had been filed. I know both Benny and his wife had put out those statements saying, we have to defend our honor. And nothing has come out so far.
Well, to the MAGA
I'm sure they're working on like a really
who
serious
texted
one.
Me saying that they were excited to watch the story. You're probably closer to Benny than me. Maybe you could check in on that for us. Ask him why he hasn't filed that lawsuit yet about the fact that he's definitely not gay. Speaking of gay influencers, a couple other subplots I think it's worth mentioning here. Number one, Christian Walker, who I was trying so hard to get on FY Pod, never would. Herschel Walker's sassy gay son. He had accused Schaefer of cheating on his wife as early as 2022.
Elijah wants to act like he's some moral, high and mighty, better than everyone man. He was fired from his job for inappropriate behavior. And not even a year ago at a conservative conference, he did my friend 4 times in one night, unprotected, while he was married. Go get your family life and your morality together, adulterer. You go study up on what morality actually is, because it ain't cheating on your wife. I met your wife. She was really kind, and it's gross to what you do to her behind her back when you go to conservative conferences without her. Don't you ever speak on my family and my family business before you get your family life together. Cheater.
So it seems like the gays were on to Elijah.
So certainly in the case of Christian Walker, I mean, he really got explicit with it. I mean, he was like, well, Elijah, you're going after me for being gay, but, you were hitting it raw with my friend at the conservative convention 4 times. I mean, it's really getting explicit with it. And you watch it and go, oh boy, okay. Even years later. And so there was that. I mean, look, Elijah is part of the kind of the fingering trio story, because the allegation was that, this fingering happened in the lobby, and then that Elijah somehow also hooked up with this woman. So, I mean, this stuff has been out there for a while, that Elijah was not like Mr. Fidelity. And so I think that this was really, as he made this pivot, not just from like right-wing hate monger, but to like right-wing daddy hate monger, that it was really undermining that.
Speaking of right-wing daddy hate monger, that takes us to the thought picture that we referenced earlier. I know everyone's been waiting for this. Let's go ahead and pull that up on screen. Here's Elijah talking about his new pipe. I got to tell you, looks good. I think probably meth, though. That. I don't know. That's not an accusation. I see a lot of speaking of gays, and I see a lot of gays posting pictures like this, and maybe Tina is it to play here, but he's got the cross. Is that a cross necklace? Can we zoom in?
An Orthodox cross, yes.
An Orthodox cross. Yeah, let's keep zooming. And that's not bad. And you can understand why he's fucking so many trad
allegedly
girls.
Let's just add a couple of allegedly in the post edits here. Okay. Allegedly. Yeah. Possibly meth, allegedly.
If I could offer some insight on Elijah's physique. So he used to be...
how do you have insight into this?
like a little bigger. I mean, like he wasn't like, but he was like a little,
He used to be a little chunky.
He enjoyed some snacks, I guess, sort of when he originally like got on the scene. And then in the past, like as part of the kind of like the more Christian turn, he also got jacked. And I imagine, and I mean, he's talking about getting sober and all this stuff. But he's also like a big enthusiast of peptides, which of course are the sort of the wild world of often Chinese sort of Ozempic, but twice or three times.
I've been hearing good things about peptides, I will say. I've been hearing that peptides
I don't want to
work.
get into it. It seems like a Wild West, you know.
Isn't
but
the
he sells
obvious
peptides.
Isn't the obvious explanation that the electric dildo really burns calories?
Well, the other thing I would say is that, and this is unfounded, but I don't think this is libelous, so maybe we'll include it. But basically, I was talking to someone.
We're so
unfounded, but not libelous. I love that. That's where we like to stay.
Yeah,
just to give you an idea of the rumor
spot.
mill around this, I said to someone, I was like, God, Elijah's looking really red and orange in these photos. And they said, yes, he's on a peptide that makes your skin look orange. Now, apparently this does exist. It's supposed to make you look tanner, but I don't know if that's true or not. But he does
like
sell
a Oompa
peptides.
Loompa?
I could see how a peptide...
Like Trump, perhaps?
Yeah, I was going to say, I could see a very popular kind of Trump-branded peptide for the MAGAs, because they are into like fitness culture now. It's kind of like an RFK Trump branded thing where it's like you get jacked and orange. I bet that'd be popular. I bet that would do well. You hate to give them more business ideas.
Yeah, I was just going to
They're
say,
already
why
doing
don't you
pretty
just pat his pockets a little more?
I think it's a good idea.
Okay.
But yeah, I will say it is a real thing that exists. I have no evidence besides just rumors that Elijah does it.
So Elijah, I just pulled up his account here, and he hasn't posted since February 1. That would have been Monday. I should say that his Monday post, he wrote, Indians just colonized and voted a pro-rape and pro-gang candidate to run the most powerful county in Texas. The readers have edited that, have what's it called? What is the fucking Elon thing called? Community notes. He's been community noted on that. Community notes says census data shows that Indian Americans are barely 1.4% of Tarrant County. So I don't know that he was like, hitting the nail on the head with that one. But he was continuing through Monday to spew racist bile. Since then, has any sightings?
Well, he's deleted all of these posts about his family going missing and things like this.
Oh, God.
And I will say, the community notes have been brutal for Elijah. At one point he posted, he was saying, look, I'm not out to hurt my family. My wife divorced me and, took the kids and all this. They left me with nothing. And then the community note was like, this user has relentlessly cheated on his wife. That they were citing the Milo thing. But, the one thing I would say also about that thirst trap is that this is when he had fled to El Salvador.
Back up. Let's pull it back up.
Well, he was claiming that Kash Patel and the FBI were like out to destroy him, that he was being doxxed, all this stuff. So he could only fly to Nayib Bukele's El Salvador for protection. And then in that caption, you can see he's like, I can't wait to get back with my beautiful family. All this, I just like, I'm a family man. And then he posts that thirst trap. I mean, I don't see it. It's kind of incoherent there.
I hope the family stay. I hope the kids get some distance. As the biggest picture, I have two closing thoughts. We can kind of go around the horn. Elijah has 862,000 followers on X.com. So this is not like a random figure. He had built a following for this nonsense. I think that, this is in some ways a tale as old as time, but there is a new resurgence in the trad stuff on the right, like anti-gay stuff people kind of stopped talking about for a while. That's back. Family roles, women having their place in the home, women serving their husband, all of that is kind of reemerging. It's with a little added element of like machismo, to like, kind of weightlifting grind culture, as opposed to kind of the last time this was around, Jerry Falwell and Pat Robertson. Those were kind of soft bodies. Now we've got some like, muscle boys doing the same nonsense. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm getting old. I've been around the block a little bit, but it's like every single time these guys are fucking the pool boy. Every time. And in this case, maybe e-girl, but the principle's still the same. And I do think that it's important to make sure and the next generation of youth understand that, it's almost always a doth protest too much situation. Sam, do you, any other final takeaways for us?
It was profoundly moving closing thoughts from you, and I hate to trample on them. But as someone who cares about our legal liability, let me just stress, we do not know for certain that Elijah used a dildo. We don't. We only have allegations that was Sarah Setka's voice, although she has not denied it. Well, it appears to be. It sounds like her, but we don't know for certain. So we're just making clear that's the case. I just want to clarify that Sarah Setka's relationship with Elijah ended, I believe, when she got married. So she's not accused of infidelity. She's accused of
That's a good flag,
up.
though. I will say, as a cradle Catholic, you do notice that the trads talk a lot about gay sex being against the rules, but premarital sex, non-marriage sex, also against the rules. And
she also was in a relationship with a married man.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, sure. So, maybe between her and her priest, as far as confession is concerned. I don't know what's happened in the confessional, but I do think it's important to say that premarital sex with a married man is frowned upon in the Catholic.
Let me just keep a couple more. Elijah, we do not know if he's taking this orange weight loss Chinese supplement. There is some circumstantial evidence that suggests, but we don't know. And we're just going to be honest about that. We do not know. Milo is not a reputable source for anything. And so while we are referencing Milo, we are not trusting him. And I just want to be clear, nothing in this is us trusting Milo. We are fairly confident in concluding that Elijah did not kill his family. There is, we believe, proof of life. We're not alleging that happened. As far as we know, he's still employed, I think. But
by his own company.
Me if I'm wrong about that. By his own company. Although he was complaining in a recent show that he had roughly the equivalent of 10 viewers on the show. So that's TBD. I think I covered all of our legal vulnerabilities there, and I just wanted to make sure that we got that in if anyone is still watching.
Huh. What about Milo no longer being an ex-gay? Do you want to clarify that?
Well, that's up in the air, and I think it's worthy of more reporting from Will.
Okay.
But I think we won't be legally liable for putting it out there.
Can I just build briefly on the point Tim made about the kind of the trad life? So the reaction to this on the right has been jubilation, perhaps because a lot of these people were disliked, but also within the world of right-wing women, there's been this battle over, you have women like Sarah Stock who look at older women, and by older, I mean like 26, 27, and they say, you're a girl boss thought, you need to get married and kind of settle down and have this kind of like 19th century Catholic idea. And so a lot of those women were saying, well, look, number one, she wasn't living that life really, they allege. And then two, look at Elijah Schaefer's wife, who was sort of a small right-wing commenter herself. And, she actually was very trad. I mean, she was home with the kids while Elijah was working. She got married. And look, he ran off with this, or, allegedly had this relationship with a much younger woman. And that's why particularly older right-wing women in their, say, 30s or 40s are saying often, hey, maybe things are a little more complex. Maybe it's not about getting married at 22 and settling down and never leaving the home again.
Whew, what a show.
That was a lot.
Everybody, fucking subscribe to the feed. I sometimes say you're not getting it like this anywhere else. I think with good confidence, this is the only place you're getting material like this. All right. 30-minute deep dives on right-wing influencer electric dildo drama. There's nowhere else out there where
allegedly on the dildo.
There's nowhere else where people are doing it like this. So please subscribe. Tell your friends. Thanks, Will and Sam.
Thanks,
See you soon.
Will.